All right, everybody, off on the right foot. The Seahawks got started off on the right foot today, and there's a lot of stuff to be happy about right now. Couple of things that are concerning going forward for sure, but as far as an NFL football game goes, you have to walk away from this one fairly satisfied. Um, 28-16, and honestly, the last Indy touchdown was, I'm not going to call it garbage time, but they weren't taking that drive all that seriously the way they were running the clock. I don't know what they were thinking on that drive, but they didn't seem that invested in the game at that point. So if the other team isn't going to be that invested, then I'm not going to be that invested. So you can call that last touchdown garbage time if you want to. I don't think you would be that far off from the truth. So whatever, 28-16, 28-10 with like 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So it's a pretty convincing W, a little more convincing than I was thinking. And this offense, it's not all the way there. Like I told you, it wasn't going to be. We had like 380 offensive yards, which is probably going to be about average for NFL teams this week. But efficient, 4 touchdowns, no field goal attempts, balanced, maybe even a little too balanced, more balanced than I was expecting. And the defense, I don't know about the bend don't break stuff against better offenses. We are going to face more talented offenses later, but for the team we were playing today, bend don't break worked great. We gave up some yards to Indy. They moved the ball. But like I said, 16 points and 6 of those were kind of garbage. So I can take it. I can take it against this team. Now, next week, it's probably going to be a little different. We got a more talented offense coming in. But for this game, solid. And I think that there's a lot to take away from the way we played on defense today. And not all of it's positive, but a lot of it is. I'll get into that as we go along in this video. But let's start with this offense because that was probably the most interesting side of the ball for fans because we were bringing in a new offense. So the results today were good. I'm not going to say they were great. We kind of fell asleep in that third quarter, didn't really do anything in the third. I think that Carson's fumble probably delayed the inevitable put-away score, which that's a great play by Darius Leonard. I'm not mad at Carson for fumbling that ball. I think he had both hands on the ball, but it's still a fumble. And you could see the Colts defense adjusted to counter what we were doing on offense in the first half, and it took us a while to really adjust. We didn't adjust until the last touchdown drive of the game in the middle of the fourth. So that is definitely something that is understandable given the fact that Shane Waldron's calling plays for the first time in his career. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about with this offense. Yeah, we got talent. Yeah, there are some really good things in this Waldron offense. The dump offs to Carson, very productive, very good stuff. The wrinkles in the running game of faking jet sweeps and running jet sweeps, cool. Very productive on those plays. The dump offs to tight ends, the scheming receivers open like Gerald Everett on that touchdown. I love it. But you are going to see us go through some dark patches as well, like that third quarter, because he's got to learn. We all got to start somewhere. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, they started somewhere, and they were not amazing right out of the box. But what we did see was an offense that utilized far more scheming of receivers open. I saw a lot of that. A lot of getting guys in good matchups, like the last Metcalf touchdown, he's one-on-one against a dude who looks like he's about 5'2" standing next to Metcalf. The Everett touchdown where he just runs in front of the zone and nobody's within 3 yards of him and he basically has the walk-in touchdown effectively. That's the kind of stuff that we really like with this new Waldron offense. That's the kind of stuff you can feel good about coming out of this game. Offensive line, I don't know. Wilson got sacked 3 times. He got hurried a few other times. It was certainly good enough for us to produce 28 points. I don't know about it, though. We saw Posick get ragdolled once by DeForest Buckner, and Posick got pulled out of the game pretty quickly after that. We were actually doing musical chairs at center, which you never really like to do musical chairs at any position when the season actually starts. So I don't know how I feel about that. But I can't say that either guy defined themselves as being clearly better than the other. But we may be doing the center dance for a good chunk of this season, because until somebody proves they are clearly better than the other guy, it might just be the cost of doing business. But I thought Carson played really well. The fumble sucks, but again, I'm going to give a lot of credit to Darius Leonard for punching that ball out. D. Eskridge, not a huge game in terms of numbers, but you can see the way in which we're using him is going to really affect this offense, even if he's not putting up the numbers. Lockett, incredible game, obviously. If Wilson doesn't underthrow that one ball where he got hit right before he threw it, he probably has 3 touchdowns in a career-type game. Metcalf took the whole game to get going, but made big plays at the end to help seal it. And look, I understand that Metcalf is trying to get his money next offseason, and I understand that he may not be thrilled about a half of football where he doesn't get a target, but I'm hoping that he can understand that you got to take what the defense gives you. And we took what the defense gave us in that first half and scored 3 touchdowns. So, to me, I'm watching that. That's a big thing. Is Metcalf going to start barking? Because we know he has a little bit of an attitude. You know he wants the ball. You know he's not going to like it if in the first half next week he doesn't get targeted. So, definitely something to watch. But he came alive in that second half. I think everything's good for now. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Will Dissly, loved what I saw from him. Not a huge game from Gerald Everett, but you can see the ways in which we're going to utilize him in this offense. He was lining up everywhere. I might have to make a video later about all the different ways Everett was lined up, confusing the defense. Even if he's not putting up, like a lot of players in this offense today, I can say, the stats are not necessarily indicative of the way in which we are utilizing the players and affecting the defense. And as this season goes on, you can expect that that's only going to get better and better. So, offensively, it was good. Not going to say it's great. There were some issues with that offensive line. I don't know why you're letting Posick try to block DeForest Buckner one-on-one. I don't know why you're letting anybody try to block DeForest Buckner one-on-one, but that's going to happen every now and then. I understand. All in all, the talent that we have took us to a pretty good place. Fingers crossed very hard right now for Dwayne Eskridge, because I like him. I like what he brought to the table today in the offense in terms of his speed and what he was doing to the Indy defense. That looked bad. That looked like it could have been something that keeps you out for a little bit. So I'm just hoping it ends up being nothing too significant. But he got jacked up. Did not like seeing that at all. Penny Hart, I know, got a concussion as well. He was out. More of a special teams loss, but he didn't really get to do anything on offense today. He got hurt before it could get started. And of course, Rashad Penny, which I'm not even going to say anything about that one because he's Rashad Penny, and of course he gets hurt. But we'll see. I got no indication of how severe the injury is. I didn't think it was too bad, but it was a thing. And Posick came out for a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be missing some time, but racked up a couple injuries on that offense. That was one of the downsides, but hey, I'll take 28 points on the road against a pretty decent defense. Defense. Speaking of defense, how about our defense? I'll say it again. When we play really good offenses, I don't think this bend, don't break stuff is going to work. I don't. I don't think you can count on the Colts like that first drive today. You let them march down the field, chunk yards, and then they get inside the 10-yard line and you come up with a big stop. That can work against lesser offenses. Today, we gave up another long drive, and it ended in a 4th down failure. I don't think you can count on that against better offenses, but run defense took a while to get going. Early in that game, Jonathan Taylor and Hines were both playing pretty well, but they closed up on him, man. By the end of that game, you're looking at this run defense thinking, given the fact that Indy is all about that rushing attack, pretty good. 3.8 yards a carry. Jonathan Taylor, 3.3 yards a carry. He had a couple big ones, but we also got a couple negative ones on him. Wentz, look, we got to do something about our blitzing. We are blitzing a little too much. I think both Indy touchdowns came on plays where we blitzed 7. That needs to stop. We cannot be blitzing 7 guys routinely, putting way too much pressure on our defensive backs. And honestly, with our defensive line, the way we spent resources, we should be able to get pressure with 4 or 5, maybe sometimes 6. 7-man blitzes should not really be a thing that we ever do, barring once or twice over the course of maybe a month. So the blitzes need to chill out. Ken Norton, Pete Carroll, take note. But the pressure was something that was building as the game went on. Early in the game, we were in the Discord. We were like, this defensive line isn't playing well. This defensive line is butt cheeks. This defensive line is overrated. Why aren't we getting any pressure? And as the game went on, man, Dunlap, he got the sack on the 2-point conversion that won't count, but he started to get pressure. Rasheem Green, maybe the best player for the Seahawks on defense. He had a sack and I think a pass knockdown, maybe 2. He had another quarterback hit. Rasheem Green, for a dude who I said coming into this season was probably playing for his NFL future, he came out on fire. Darrell Taylor, awesome game. He got a sack on 4th down where he dump trucked the tackle. Benson Mayowa, I was talking about how I didn't know if he was going to have a role on this defense, but he played well today. He had a sack. He had a couple of tackles for loss, hits on the quarterback. You can see where eventually, and when I say eventually, I mean like next week, you're going to start seeing a dominant pass rush with just 4 or 5 guys rushing. I was impressed with those guys as the game went on, and I really hope we chill out with the blitzes because I don't think we need it. Other than that, I thought Wagner played pretty well. Jordan Brooks, very nice game from him, honestly. Jordan Brooks, I saw some nice stuff from him in coverage too, and that was one of the things I was worried about when we drafted him. There were some missed tackles early in the game. I thought Jamal missed one, Wagner missed one, Quandre Diggs missed a couple. 1 or 2 other guys just sloppy tackling, but as the game went on, I was impressed. They sewed it up. They fixed it up. Monet made a great stop at the line of scrimmage on one of those run plays that I think really helped turn this game around. DJ Reed and Trey Flowers were okay. I know Trey Flowers gave up the touchdown, but to me, that's on Ken Norton for sending a 7-man blitz like that. You don't need to do that, especially in that situation where we're just trying to run the clock out. Just let them have 5 yards, tackle them in bounds, and you're going to get the game over with faster. But we got time to work on that now. I thought that I just can't say enough about Darrell Taylor, his first ever NFL game. That was really exciting. That was really, really cool to see him make big plays in this one. Hitting Carson Wentz, making that big 4th down stop. That was maybe the most exciting thing about this game for me, because if he's actually good, we can sit here and talk about how, he's going to be good because he's got talent, because he was a 2nd-round pick, because he looked great in camp and preseason, but to actually see it, that was huge. Special teams were fine. Shout out to Dixon for getting that punt off. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Other good punts later in the game. We made all our extra points. One thing that was missing from this game for me was Alton Robinson. He had a limited impact on this game. Don't know what was going on there, but I have high hopes for Alton. So hopefully starting next week, the Alton Robinson train can start chugging. But other than that, it's a good game, man. We played a good game. I don't have a ton to complain about. Ken Norton needs to stop sending 7. The offense, maybe we ran the ball a little too much today, but it was honestly pretty effective. So I guess I'm not going to be too upset about a running attack that averages over 5 yards a carry, and especially one that does at least mix it up with the kind of rushes they do. We didn't see plow up the gut, plow up the gut, plow up the gut. We saw stuff to the outside. We saw jet sweeps. We saw runs to the edges. We saw all kinds of stuff. So I can get behind that. I can. Now, like I said, there are going to be other teams we play this year where, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to cut it, but it cut it today. Stream later tonight to discuss the game. We're going to stream most of the Sunday night football game, I think, and I hope to see you guys there. But good start to the season. Offense, good. Defense, good. I'm not going to say they were very good or great or amazing, but they were good. And good was good enough to beat an Indy team that was a little bit hobbled and honestly made some mistakes, especially late in the game when they were trying to mount a comeback. But I'll take it. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Sound off in the comments.